and visit them all the time.
All
And
the time.
it's not even a big deal. It's not even, it's as natural as gravity or electricity or fire. They just take it for granted that the spirits come. But in the West, our science, because they can't prove it, have made it so difficult for people like us to want to talk openly about it. It's like I imagine this was what it was like for certain Christian groups in certain areas, or the gay community at a certain time, or the black community. It's almost like you're too scared to say anything
That
because you're
is true.
scared because you're going to be persecuted.
And in some places more so than others. And I'm not trying to belittle what those groups went through, because God knows it's been horrid. And we are not persecuted to the degree that they were. We're not
No.
even, we're under no physical threat unless we have a job that might be affected by this, or, somebody just thinks we're crazy and wants to institutionalize us. But I do think that it's coming to a point where so many people are fully aware that this is a real phenomenon. You have people doing studies saying, oh, well, the reason this is happening to so many people is that it's a universal built-in psychosis kind of experience. Well, what a load of crap. We all have the same psychosis possibilities. I have such a difficult time with those who are trying so hard to prove that there's not truly a spiritual side to our existence, that we can't coexist with people on a different plane than us. It's just insane. It's like they're going to the ludicrous to try to make other people appear ludicrous. It's frustrating.
Yeah, of course you're right. We're not persecuted to the extent of that, but it's like, you've got to talk in, like you've got to be very careful and almost apologetic. But as I'm getting older, like my big resolution for 2019 is that I want to embrace my spirituality. I've sat on the fence for so long, and yet I know deep down, and I'm probably this first interview I've said it, I know deep down all of this is real. I try and
Yes.
make excuses for it and provide rationale, and maybe a large percentage of it is explainable. But there's stuff that just defy belief. We were burgled. We were burgled. That window was smashed in, and we didn't put those CDs like that. We didn't move that. Di and Anne were terrified of what happened to them. Some of the dreams, some of the visions, some of the imagery they saw was, I don't believe you'd have to be such a fantasist, such a creative mind. I'm creative. I'm really creative. But some of the stuff they came up with, I was like, what? How? These are ordinary people. They didn't have, outstanding educations, higher education degrees, university. These are people that they left school in their mid-teens. They went out to work. They know what they know. They're clever people, but they're not like, they're not Stephen King or Frank Herbert or anything like that. They're just people. And they were just trying to make sense of what happened to them.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it, when you read the book, there is so much you're like, wow, that is so strange. And I quite safely say that the stuff you read in Haunted Horror of Haverfordwest, I don't know if I've ever seen it in film, in TV. I don't know if I've seen it anywhere else. And I was being interviewed a couple of nights ago by extreme skeptic, and it was a very challenging interview. And I just
Yes.
said, look, and I
I've
just
heard
said to
that.
him, look, I said, look, don't worry about it. I said, you don't have to believe. And he said, well, if this house is really haunted, why hasn't the owner sold it for science? I said, I don't know. Ask them, innit? They've closed ranks on me. I've been told if I talk about it, if I tell where the house is, I could get sued. So it's not up to me. If I own the house, everyone who's got a copy of the book, everyone who supported me, everyone who's got interest in the subject, go and stay at the house. You tell me what's going on. And I said to the skeptic, if someone could prove to me it was a rational explanation like toxic mold, tetracommunication, gas, radon gas, EMFs, whatever, and you can prove to me that's what caused it, then I'll accept it. But
Right.
until then, it's an open book, and it's not just me, and it's not Diane Ann, and the other people. There's people, dozens, if not hundreds, if not thousands of people all over the world having these experiences, and their lives are falling apart. People are succumbing to dependency, suicide, all kinds of awful things because no one's taking it seriously. And I hope my book, some people read my book and think, sugar, and it's what? And I said, sugar, this is happening to me. Because there's only one bit of advice that I can give and Diane Ann gave. And that was, if it's happening to you, get out. Just start again. Just get out of that house. You can't change it. Nothing's going to work. Get out.
Yes.
Would you stay there, Kat?
No.
Really?
And I did answer that quickly because I have read your books and I have reread your books. I absolutely don't have any interest in dealing with something that has had that kind of effect on multiple people. It's not something that, I don't know, I would not live there. I would go there to research it, but I absolutely would not live there because I believe that there's a possibility of behaviors being construed as an invitation, and I would never choose to invite something like that or make it feel like it had an invitation to interact with me in that extreme. There are rules. There's rules of engagement. And you better be aware of them if you're going to be doing investigations of the type that I do and that you've experienced also. Because once invitations are extended, they're very difficult to pull back if something tries to accept them. And then you have a whole different kettle of fish.
Denise has just asked, does anyone live in a house? Yeah. No, it's not. I walk past it quite regularly. And Anne, that's not a real name, but Anne she's seen a light on in the house twice and she's put a letter through the door. Imagine waking up to that. Imagine you wake up in the morning and there's a letter. You've been there a week. The house is really nice and there's a letter saying, hey, don't want to worry you, but if anything weird happens in the house, get out. But the house is always empty. It's in a prime position. It's in the centre of Haverfordwest. It'd be perfect for a working couple or a young couple or a professional person who's living on their own, who's got, a bit of money. And the house isn't incredibly expensive to buy. It's affordable. And yet the house is always empty. So it's obvious that what's going on. And I think in Britain, the book has really, really taken off. Like it's created a lot of buzz. And in my hometown, I'm getting so many like Facebook requests, and my girlfriend, people are coming up to my girlfriend now. And, as I said earlier, she's not really
a very cute girl.
Oh, she's lovely. She is really, honestly, I'm so blessed. I'd kind of given up, if I'm honest. It's kind of like, I'd always put career first, and, I have a career out of the writing, and I just kind of, I had the mini stroke last year and I thought maybe that's it now. Maybe I'm done. And I met her and she just helped me so much. And people come up to her now and they're like, oh, where's the house? Where's the house? And she's like, oh, I can't tell you. And she's read the book and she messaged me. She said, it's very late, but I've just read your book. And she said, I'm so proud of you for admitting to everyone what a difficult time you had, with the depression and alcoholism and dependency and suicide. And she said, I'm really proud of that. And she said, whatever people think of your book, you've told them that you can change your life and you can turn it around, and there is hope, there is possibility. And that made me feel really, really proud. Denise has just asked, is it up for sale or lease? It looks like it's just unoccupied at the moment. It was regularly up for lease, for rent. And I had some friends that lived not nearby, and they used to send me texts saying they're leaving today, Gav. And he would time how long they were there, and they'd be there for like 7-8 weeks, and they'd leave. And there's nothing wrong with the house. It's like in terms of it's a nice house, like big mantelpiece. It's a terraced house, which means it looks very, very small from the front, but it stretches all the way back, and it's made out, 2 feet of stone. It's got loads of character, and it's got a long garden at the back, a long yard, and you'll buy a road at the front of it, but at the back of the house, you can't hear anything. So the house, in terms of structure and aesthetic, looks amazing. It's like if I gave any of you the house and didn't tell you it was haunted, you'd be like, "Oh my God, it's amazing! What a beautiful, quaint Welsh house! This is beautiful. It's like a cottage." But once you've lived there for a while, you'd be like, "Why has he done this to us? It's horrible." I can't speak for everyone, but it looks like everyone who has lived there has had some kind of weird experience, because no one is living there. No one is living
So
there.
obviously word is getting out.
I don't know, because I haven't released the details
I
of
know
it.
you haven't, but the people who have come and gone so quickly, it would have to raise questions. That is not the largest town in Wales, right?
It's the largest town in Pembrokeshire.
Right.
There's a population of about 25 to 30,000 people, and that's big.
That's a moderate location.
Yeah, and it's the centre of a county which got 125,000 people.
Go. That's a large area.
Yeah.
But it's still where, if you're in the pub and you're in your cups one night and you're talking about this place that you loved, then that spreads. And I would, if enough people went to the same pub and were playing darts or doing whatever, and conversation struck up relevant to that word is going to get around. And oh my goodness, we are up on our last break, Gavin.
It's flying by.
It is flying by. But we will be back in 2 minutes, and thank y'all so much for being here with us. Y'all enjoy this.
You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experienced Radio. Broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.
Welcome back to Paranormal Experience. I am Kat Hobson, your host, with my fabulous guest and great friend, Gavin Lee Davies. He is an author extraordinaire, publisher. He is a magazine editor, and he is just a fabulous human. And Gavin, I have been having such a good time with you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Kat.
We have so much more to cover, and we are down to about 15 minutes. I can't stand it. But I am interested because, we have gone down a few rabbit holes through here, and you've shared the link for Haunted Haverford West, the
Well done. You got it.
Thank you.
Well done. Yeah, that was good.